Let's look at what kind of rebates and incentives are out there. At the federal level, we have the resident and corporate renewable tax credit. This took the place, before they used to be giving you like $0.015 credit for every kilowatt hour that came out. Well, that gets really confusing. So what the government did is they came up with this corporate and residential renewable tax credit, where basically what they're doing is they're giving you 30% of what it costs you to buy and install a renewable system back. So that's going to knock the total initial cost of your system down by a third. It's open for businesses and residentials, and then there's also another one for like co-ops, municipals, and other things, but this is the one that would affect most of you. Systems that qualify for this include wind turbines, solar systems, fuel cells, geothermal heat pumps, which Steelseeker likes, and solar water heaters also. The other grant and loan program is through the USDA. It's called the REAP Loan and Grant Program. It's available for agricultural and small rural business owners, and basically they can, on top of this, if they qualify for it, can also apply for 25% rebate on their initial project cost. In 2010, the REAP budget is $70 million. Okay, and 98% of that budget is going towards the agriculture and small business for renewable systems. Another thing I'm just going to mention, because this is going to come up later in our presentation, is there is also an energy efficiency improvement program going on where it's a tax credit. And there's various amounts available. If you don't want to put up a renewable system, you still can get government money, and it goes towards water heaters, boilers, furnaces, heat pumps, and building improvements, and we can touch on that later. Okay, at the state level, like I mentioned before, any system that's renewable, that's size under 40 kW nameplate, can qualify for retail rate. Right now, the 2010 Steelseeker rates are 11.16 cents per kilowatt hour for single phase and 11.07 cents per kilowatt hour for three phase. Every year that number is adjusted. It's not going down, as most of you seen, your power bills are going up. You also have a state sales tax exemption, and that falls under for both wind and solar systems. All material is exempt for sales tax, including whatever you manufacture, construct, or maintain and repair. The state property tax exemption is on just the machines itself, so your wind turbine or your solar system, it's exempt from property tax. That does not mean the land that those systems are on are exempt, but the objects themselves are exempt from property tax. And then there also is a state solar rebate program, where basically they're giving you, well, we don't know for sure what it's going to be in 2010. Last year what they were doing is you got $2,000 for every 2 kW system you put up. Is that correct, Cindy? Right, $2,000 per 2 kW, or is it 4? Yeah, so $1,000 per kW. Great River Energy actually was matching that grant. Next year, or this year, 2010, GRE is not having a solar rebate grant, and the reason being is they're now concentrating on energy efficiency and conservation efforts. The state is planning on continuing this program, except they're out of money, and right now there's actually a waiting list. They're expecting federal funds from the President's Recovery Act, but the wheels turn really slow. So if you do decide to put one up, these up, you can submit your application to the state and see if you can fall on it, but you're on a waiting list right now. So let's put everything together quick as a summary, because everybody wants to know, well, how much does this stuff cost? Best known prices for a 39 kW wind turbine as of last year was about $120,000. Figure average production at 44,000 kilowatt hours per year, you're going to make about $4,115 on Steelseeker's system. Figure about $750 for insurance and maintenance that you got to carry on it. That's going to vary depending on how much you contract out and how much you can do yourself. A photovoltaic system, and let's assume a 2 kW system, it's going to run you probably about $1,800. Yeah. And most of that's in inverter cost. Now this is going to vary too depending on who you use. Right now we're projecting about 3,000 kilowatt hours being put back on the system, about $315 per year. Insurance and maintenance is a little bit lower because there's less maintenance on these objects and about $100 a year. Now, these numbers are a guess. I mean, we did do our research, but I can't base it off of anything that we have on our system. So your best thing to do would be to contact a vendor and actually confirm these numbers. Another thing you can do is there is this website called findsolar.com, and you can actually pretend you're going to put a solar system on your house, and it will actually calculate for you how much this is going to cost you and how much it'll run you. Okay, and you can actually say Steel Osika, and it'll put in Steel Osika's rates. Now, granted, it's using 2009s because it hasn't updated yet, and it also is giving you GRE's grant, but it'll give you a ballpark figure of what your paybacks are and stuff like that. The thing to note, your capacity factor, which means how often is the system running at full speed, is only, at best, about 15%. Okay, so don't expect this thing to run 100% at all the times because your resources aren't there 100% of the time.